workshop. So I have another unboxing for you today. It's going to be a fun one, so stick around. So today's unboxing is going to be another rifle optic, and this optic was sent to me by Vector Optics for review. This is their Sentinel line. This is the 10-40x50 second focal plane rifle scope. Now, I was told that this rifle scope is designed for a 25-meter bench rest, so we're going to test that out. But first, we're going to unbox it, then we're going to check the color and clarity through the scope cam, and next we're going to do some shooting. So let's get this unboxed. So the Sentinel-X line is supposedly meant for a 25-meter bench rest, but this is their 10-40x50 Pro line. And let's go ahead and open up the box and see what comes in the box. So first we have just a description of kind of what is in the box. It comes with an already installed CR2032 battery for your Illuminated reticle, and it also comes with a 5-year warranty from Vector Optics. Next, Vector Optics sent me a few fun things. They sent me with a couple fun patches. I'm not sure where I'll stick those, but I like it anyways. They sent me with a lucky coin, which, hey, I can always use the luck when shooting. And my favorite always is some fun stickers. But let's throw those back in the bag and move on. Got a nice lens cleaning cloth. We have a boxed up set of Vector Optics rings. So let's open the rings real quick, take a look at them. Seem to be nice quality rings. And it's nice that they throw these in the box so you don't have to purchase a set separately. And you've got your little adjustment tool, an Allen key, and next the optic itself. So first off, you'll notice that it does come up with flip up lens shades, though they don't fold all the way back. They seem to be nice and easy to open. And let's go ahead and take this guy off and slide the sunshade off. So Sentinel-X Pro 10-40x50. So no throw lever in here, but I do notice that they offer a throw lever, and you can actually get a parallax adjustment wheel if you want something a little bit larger. So immediately feeling a parallax. Seems to be very smooth, no crunchiness. Focus. Smooth, just a little bit stiff, but I suppose that's okay. Every scope seems to be a little bit different, not just from Vector, but all scopes. Some have them really loose, some have them really stiff. Main thing is you don't want them moving while you're shooting. So if this is designed for a bench rest gun, I would probably err on a little bit tighter side than the looser side, just because you're not going to be adjusting this a lot and you don't ever want it to move on you. You have different illuminations. Now this one is 0 all the way to 11. There are not off marks in between, so if you do want to turn it off and say you're on 5, you do have to go all the way around one direction or the other. Now the big thing that is important to me is on the parallax adjustment. It goes down to, I believe, as close as 10 meters all the way up to infinity. And the 10 meters is important because I need to be able to focus close as well as distance. The rifle scopes that I've had that have minimum of 25 meters and some even 50, I don't like because you can't use the whole zoom range, especially if you're shooting close. taking a look at the windage and elevation. Windage, it is a locking, so pull it out, and you can kind of hear the clicks on that. Seems to be very tactile and nice. Push that back in. This one is not a locking, but it's stiff enough that it's not going to go anywhere or easily get bumped when you're shooting. Your diopter on the front is a non-locking, but seems to be working really nice and smooth. And it is tapered down. It does not stick above this, which I do like for mounting a scope cam. The ones that stick above make it difficult to actually get the scope cam grabbed onto here. So next, let's go ahead and get this mounted up and take a look at the color and clarity and tracking through the rifle cam. Alright guys, so this is the rig that I've got set up for testing my color. I've thrown up in the right hand corner an actual picture of the coloring so you can kind of compare and see where colors get washed out. Now looking at this, we just want to pay attention to the color clarity as we start to zoom in on the picture. But first things you'll notice about the scope is you do have a bit of vignetting around the edges, and the focus is not crystal clear all the way to the edge. But for the price of this scope, this is something to be expected, so take it with a grain of salt. But the center point, which is the most important, where you're going to be shooting, is very clear. The color representation actually is quite clear and good. I was very impressed. Now, this scope is designed for a 25-meter Benchrest, and we are shooting about 20 yards away, I'm guessing. I throw it up here in just a second. But, yep, 20 yards away. And this is what you would typically be using this for. So this is a good representation, an accurate representation, or say, of the color and the clarity that you're going to expect through this scope. Now it might be just slightly clearer because I am shooting through a Scopemate camera. This is the Scopemate S28. This is their 4K camera, so we are shooting in the highest resolution possible for this camera. Now, we are currently shooting at 20 yards, like I said, and this is the 10 power setting on the scope, so the least amount of zoom, and that's where you're going to get your most light and clarity overall. Now, as we zoom in, I want you to pay attention to where we maybe drop clarity or light reproduction. So we are zooming in here. Currently zooming, this is about 20 power here. And as you zoom in, you'll notice that it gets a little bit darker. This is 25, moving on to 30 power, and then to the max of, well, I say 35 is next, and then 40, which is our max. And believe it or not, I didn't really get much color drop off. I don't have a huge amount of hazing. I do have a bit. But the brightness is still there, and the color representation, which is important, really does stay there. Now let's zoom back out just so you can see the difference again, and going all the way back out to 10 power. Now let's move over to our vision chart. I want you to pay attention to the crispness of the edges of the letters. Sorry for the little bit of handshake. There's 15 power, 20 power, 35 power, and then all the way up to 40 power. And 40 power still is very readable, very clear. Those bottom letters are maybe about 1/4 of an inch tall. And then here is our illumination on bright daylight, and this illumination setting is illumination of 11. And this is the brightness that you can expect. Now, if you've got direct sunlight, this illumination dot will probably disappear, but I actually prefer a dot over the whole reticle being illuminated. All right, real quick, here is our windage and elevation adjustment. We have 50 MOA of elevation and 50 MOA of windage. Now, I wasn't able to clamp this down completely so it didn't move to line up back in the same spot. But one thing I noticed a little bit is I got the scope showing up in my camera when I adjust it all the way to one side. That's the inside of the tube. Don't know if it's my camera or what it is. Some clarity shots over some distance. 65 yards at 10 power looks okay. I'm getting a little bit of glare from the sun inside the tube, so it's not perfectly crystal clear. This is zoomed all the way up to 40 power. This is probably about 60 yards here. But as I back it out, you can start to see where I get light back and it starts to gain some clarity again. Here is 25 power and then back to 10 power. So obviously 10 power is going to be the brightest light and clarity. Here's where the fun part comes in. I get to do some shooting. Now you'll notice that the image is a little bit darker. This is because the area in my yard that I was shooting in doesn't have any sun coverage and it's kind of in some trees. So a little bit darker image, but really happy with the way this adjusts. It's 1/8 MOA clicks, so very fine adjustment for Benchrest shooting is what you want. So a couple clicks at 19 yards away don't do a whole lot. But you can see my repeat follow-up shots. I'm doing pretty good here, just having some fun with some trick shots. And let's see, I was trying to hit the pellet off the top, which didn't work too good. Let's see that in slow motion. Oh yeah. So almost got it. A little bit of more adjustment and I probably could have shot that off. This poor little horse. This is my daughter's toys that she gives me to shoot at. And almost had this one. Now let's do a little bit of distance shooting. This is a zombie. This is a 3-inch tall zombie at 42 yards away. Let's see if I can hit him on the first shot. And oh yeah, let's see that again in slow motion. You can see my pellet traveling. So if I made a couple clicks over, I could have had my reticle dialed dead on. But I would call that a dead zombie. Now, of course, zombies have to be shot in the head, so he may still come back to bite me, but I think I hit him. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I actually enjoyed shooting this scope. I'll probably leave this on the Umarex Notos until something better comes along. But as far as budget long-range second focal plane scopes, this is probably the best that I have tested so far. You do get some light drop-off, but you can't beat this for the money, especially for shooting any kind of Benchrest shooting. Now, if you want to know more about this scope, just follow the link in the description below. There'll be a link to Vector Optics' website where they have a number of different optings for every style of shooter. If you want to know more about the Vector Optics scopes or any of the scopes that they carry for every style of shooter, be sure and follow the link below. I'll also be leaving a discount code for any purchases that you make. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, be sure and leave those below as well. Until next time, guys, thanks again.